All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about two names you probably heard before, but maybe you don't know the full story behind them. I'm talking about Saints Cosmas and Damian.
You know, if you've been to a Catholic Mass, their names pop up in a really important spot, the Eucharistic prayer. They're right in there with some of the biggest names in the faith. So it kind of makes you wonder, right? Who were these guys? How did a couple of doctors from way back in the 3rd century get such a prime spot in the liturgy?
So here they are, meet Cosmas and Damian. Now these guys were twin brothers, born in Arabia, and they were brilliant doctors. But their story, it's so much more than just medicine. It's this absolutely radical story of faith, of giving, and just, wow, incredible bravery.
Okay, so what was their deal? What made them so special? I mean, it wasn't just that they were good doctors. It was something deeper, a core belief that made them completely different from everyone else, and really, it defined their entire legacy.
So these brothers, they're originally from Arabia, right? And they set up shop in this busy port city called Azizia, that's in modern-day Turkey. And they got a reputation and fast. But here's the thing, it wasn't just because they were amazing healers. For them, healing someone's body was tied directly to healing their soul. It was all one mission. And they used that trust they built to introduce a lot of people to Christianity.
And this is the absolute heart of their story. You have to remember, in the Roman Empire, medicine was a business. It was for people who could afford it. But Cosmas and Damian, they did something that was just unheard of. They didn't charge a dime, nothing, zilch. Their skills were a gift, totally free to anyone who walked through their door.
I mean, this was so radical. People gave them a nickname for it, the NRG Roy. It's a Greek word, kind of cool. It literally means the silverless. Think about that. The guys without silver. It wasn't a job for them, you see. It was this deep, profound act of faith. And that's how everyone knew them.
Now, as you can probably guess, being this famous and this openly Christian, well, it doesn't go unnoticed in the Roman Empire. Their incredible generosity, their faith, it ended up attracting the wrong kind of attention. And this is where their story takes a really dramatic turn.
Okay, so we're in the late 3rd century. The Emperor Diocletian is on a rampage against Christians. It's one of the worst persecutions in history. And the local governor, a guy named Lysias, he has Cosmas and Damian arrested. The ultimatum was simple and brutal. Give up your faith or else.
And they said no, flat out refused. What happens next, according to the story, is just mind-blowing. It's this series of attempted executions, and every single one fails. They're thrown into the sea, they survive. They're tossed into a massive fire, they walk out without a scratch. Stoning, crucifixion, you name it, Lysias tried it, but nothing could break them or end their lives.
So Lysias is just completely furious at this point, right? He's been totally thwarted. So finally, he just orders them to be beheaded. And what's so heartbreaking is that their 3 younger brothers, Antimus, Leontius, and Euprepius, they were killed right there with them.
And this isn't just some vague fairy tale. We're talking about a real event pinned to a specific date, September 27th, probably around the year 287. And the impact of that day, it started spreading almost instantly and just kept going for centuries.
So you might think that's the end of the story. But really, their deaths were just the beginning. The story of these silverless doctors spread like wildfire, and their legacy got cemented right into the heart of the early church.
Just look at how fast this all happened. Within 100 years, you've got churches dedicated to them popping up everywhere. Jerusalem, Egypt, Mesopotamia. Then fast forward a bit, and the Emperor Justinian, the emperor, gets really sick. He believes their prayers saved him, so he dumps a ton of money into rebuilding their church in Constantinople. And at pretty much the same time, the Pope is doing the exact same thing in Rome.
And we're not talking about some small, forgotten chapel. Look at this. This is a stunning mosaic from their basilica right in the Roman Forum, commissioned by Pope Felix IV. It's one of the most important, most beautiful pieces of early Christian art in all of Rome. And the best part? You can go see it with your own eyes today.
So their legacy gets locked in, officially. Of course, they become the patron saints of doctors and surgeons. That's a no-brainer. Their names get added to the litany of the saints, but here's the big one, the one that brings us back to the beginning. They were given that permanent spot in the Roman Canon, the central prayer of the Mass. That cemented their importance forever.
Yeah, this really sums it all up, doesn't it? It explains exactly why we still talk about these 2 brothers from Arabia today. It wasn't just the 3 medical care, it was the whole package. Their charity, the incredible healing stories, and of course, their heroic sacrifice. That's what put them in the big leagues.
So that brings us right back to now.
This is a 1,700-year-old story about twin doctors who saw healthcare as an act of love, not a business deal. In our world, where we're constantly talking about the cost and accessibility of medicine, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What can the story of these silverless saints teach us right here, right now?